During the early 1950s, WGPA Radio ushered in a new era of sports coverage to Bethlehem by broadcasting local sporting events. Until this time, fans of local high schools and colleges may not have been able to enjoy these games live due to a lack of available seating and conflicting work schedules. The school most closely associated with WGPA over the years has been Lehigh University, which was very close in proximity, located a mere block away from the radio station's original location on Broadhead Avenue. The building, which is now owned by Lehigh and serves as its human resources building, was an integral part of the university at the time, as it broadcast many Lehigh sporting events, lectures by visiting scholars, and aired student-produced radio dramas in the late 1940s and early 50s. In the early 1950s, WGPA had a staff which included the 3 engineers, General Manager McCracken, Program Director Stephen George, Receptionist Betty Gordon, Salesman Charles Geaver and Richard Gerlich, and Liberty High School graduate Gene Stevens. However, it would be another local product of Liberty High School whose voice would become synonymous with WGPA for nearly the next half-century. It would be impossible to tell the story of WGPA without telling the story of Bob Wolkin. In the summer of 1952, Bob Wolkin took a part-time evening shift on WGPA before starting his senior year at Liberty High School. The day after graduation the following spring, he was offered the position of full-time morning man. Bob accepted the job and became the voice of WGPA, working at the station for an amazing 45 years until he retired in 1997. Bob Wolkin's professional yet easygoing delivery was a great fit with the station's format at the time, and his love of big band was also evident in many of the shows he did, including this early broadcast of It's in the Book from 1953.
Good morning once again. Good morning to you. On this, the cool day, put it that way, a Wednesday morning, the 19th of August, 1953. And brother, when we walked across that bridge, it was kind of cool out there. See your breath. Not that cold, you understand, but nice and cool. Really woke you up. And that's our purpose around here, by the way, today and every Monday through Saturday from 7 to 9:15, to sort of wake you up, at least get you in a happy mood. We hope we're going to be doing that from now until 9:15. Our show is called It's in the Book, and we have music, recorded music, along with news, weather, time checks, a little bit of chatter here and there by yours truly, Bob Wolkin. So hope you'll stay tuned for the next 2.5 hours or 2.25 hours. It's in the book, they say.
In a 1981 newspaper interview with the Globe-Times, Bob credited WHOL's longtime morning man Paul Mitchell for helping him to break into the business and for mentoring him in his early days, something Bob would surely do for countless other radio announcers over the next 5 decades at WGPA.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Well, he's the guy who hired me. I mean, he called me up. He gave me my start in the radio industry. I had no idea. I had no idea what to do. So he showed me what to do, and I did it.
Took a lot of pride in what he did, pride in himself, and a lot of pride in the station. And he lasted quite a few owners.
Bob was such a unique guy that obviously a very good broadcaster, but a character in that he was a single guy, lived by himself, didn't drive, but was perfectly happy with his life, his occupation, where his career was. And I truthfully can tell you that I don't remember Bob ever getting mad. And I don't remember Bob ever being down about anything. And they called it Sonny Bob, that's what they called him for a long time, and that probably was a pretty good name.
Just a loyal guy. You don't find many like those anymore, and especially his talent. I understand he had options he was born in Detroit area, and he had options to take positions in larger markets, but really liked the area, really liked the people, but a dedicated man.
Bob Wolkin was also the engineer and color commentator for Lehigh wrestling and football for over 30 years. Aside from sports, Bob also engineered many live broadcasts from the area, including a weekly broadcast of the Park Frankenfield Band from the Bethlehem Holiday Inn Friday nights on WGPA FM in the 1970s. In his 45 years at the radio station, Bob worked for all 4 owners in the station's history, all without a contract. Each time the station changed hands, Bob came with the transaction, just like the furniture, equipment, and the call letters themselves.
Very few people really outlast or are there for that many different ownership regimes. That in itself is kind of remarkable in itself, and that he's been able to do that is something about his staying power and his ability to not just be on the air, but so much he did off the air that so many people just never knew about.
Never missed a day of work, ever. Never missed one day of work up until the time we parted ways in 1980. Maybe later he did, but I remember even the day his mother died. Didn't miss it.
Bob's official last day on WGPA was June 27, 1997. Sadly, he would not be able to enjoy his retirement very long as he suddenly passed away a few short months later in December of 1997.
Even before he passed away, I can still remember I was up in Bethlehem. I had a property up there that I was working on, and I was out front of the house on Main Street, and all of a sudden I hear someone yell across the street, "Hey, Bill!" And here it's Bob. And so he came over, and we had a good long talk, and that was again shortly before he passed away. And I'm glad we had that chance meeting.
He didn't cut corners, worked hard at what he did, and took pride in what he did.
In a business where moving from place to place is usually just part of the job, there are few personalities that could boast a 40-plus year career at any single station. This is a testament to Bob's loyalty to the people of Bethlehem and to his profession, a profession he had great respect for, and to WGPA Radio, the only full-time employer he ever had. Through the 1950s, WGPA remained a middle-of-the-road pop music station, featuring popular music of the day and standards of years gone by. Even with the advent of rock and roll in the late 1950s, WGPA never became a rock station, although they did play some of the lighter hits by Buddy Holly and Elvis Presley, along with more traditional pop music like Pat Boone and crooners like Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett.
First of all, we had Bob Keane and the Keane Timers and Boogie for a Nickel, and then Woody Herman and his new Third Herd, and Dolly Houston on the vocal. I'm making up for lost time. Hope you'll do the same after hearing those two real gone recordings. The time is 28 minutes after 8 o'clock. 28 after 8. Girls, get ready. Here he comes. That heartthrob. Yeah, we mean Mr. Tony Bennett.
In 1963, Globe Times operating head Roland Adams acquired 90% of interest in the Bethlehem and Pittsburgh Coca-Cola Bottling Company. This investment in Coca-Cola would prove to be important in the decision to sell WGPA when the Department of Justice would later clamp down on publishers' ownership of mass media within a single market. Another change to the station took place in November of 1968. On November 4th of that year, the AM and FM began running separate programming from noon until midnight. While the AM side stayed with its regular MOR programming, the FM portion began playing beautiful music. Studies at the time had been showing Lehigh Valley listeners turning to Philadelphia stations to hear this format. The relaxed sound of an FM beautiful music station was a stark contrast to many of the fast-paced, high-energy top 40 stations of the day. Former Armed Forces radio announcer Robert Deacon was named program director for the new WGPA FM. Deacon had been with the station since 1961 and had already developed a popular program entitled The Velvet Touch that aired evenings on WGPA FM. WGPA FM continued to carry the majority of local sports and any other event that took place outside of the AM's broadcasting hours. However, the decision to split the programming would be just one of many changes that would occur over the next decade.